Now the thing is, we're all born with the ability to breathe, but I can bet you anything that the average person doesn't breathe nearly well enough in order to sustain a good quality sound on a saxophone or another wind instrument, unless he or she properly practices that technique. The breathing aspect, as far as I'm concerned, is the single most important thing in sustaining a good quality sound on a sax. I think that so many beginners are under the illusion that all they need to do is waggle their fingers a bit and blow a little bit and hey presto, they've got a good sound. Well, it's not true. Try and think of the saxophone as an extension of your body. Remember, when a great singer produces a great sounding note, it's normally because all their breathing muscles are properly engaged in the process. And so often do I see beginners just take a shallow breath, filling up the upper part of their chest. And as a result, they produce a weak and unsustained tone. So the buzz phrase here is going to be deep breathing. If we can learn to breathe properly, then we really set the basis for producing a good quality sound throughout the entire range of the instrument. Okay, now it's time to talk about the diaphragm. Not only is it a really hard word to spell, but it's also a dome-shaped organ, if you like, which is situated here just below the rib cage and above the abdomen. And the idea of the diaphragm is that when we breathe in, it's the thing that pulls down and draws air into the lungs. Now the funny thing about the diaphragm is that we don't have any direct experience of it, we only experience the effects of its use. However, it's controlled by the abdominal muscles, so this is the area to concentrate on when we're trying to perfect diaphragm breathing. One analogy I like to apply is that we see our diaphragm and our lungs, this whole cavity, as a giant balloon, so that when we breathe in, we try and fill up this giant balloon. Now we can try a few practice exercises. If we just place our hands around here, such that we're just touching the lower part of the ribs around the front, and with our thumbs, we're also touching the ribs at the back. And as we try and take in a deep breath, we're going to try and feel some movement not only around the front, but also around the back. Now, as I do that, I feel a little bit of expansion around the back, and when you get that expansion, you know that you're really in business. So let's put the embouchure and breathing aspects into practice and try playing a long note on the saxophone. Now, if you remember from before, we had our two thumbs in position here and here. We've not talked about any particular fingering yet. So when we just blow down the saxophone without choosing to play any fingering, we get what we call an open C sharp. So here we go. Now, some other key points to mention here. It's really important to try and avoid putting tension into all the wrong parts of the body. So the muscles around the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the back. Just try really relaxing when you're playing these long notes. The only tension should be in the muscles around the abdomen, which controls the diaphragm, remember. So as I reach the end of the long note, there's a feeling that I've emptied my lung capacity and my diaphragm pushing muscles have gone to their limit. So this time I'm going to play the note again, and I'm going to place my hand just here and try and feel for that movement in the ribs as I reach the end of the long note. Now, it's also important to pay particular attention to how much mouthpiece you put in your mouth when you're playing. If we put too much in, we tend to sound a bit like a set of bagpipes, something like this. And if it's too little, then the sound can be weak and unfocused, fuzzy sounding. And a bit flat you'll hear there as well. But if we get it just right, then we get a balance of the two and get a nice full-bodied sound.